Hi, this next one is about a medicine that comes from the jungle. Its active ingredient is DMT, and also beta carbolines. It's called ayahuasca, and I've had multiple experiences with ayahuasca, and I have to just say that it's been the most beneficial thing in my life other than meditation. I rank them side by side as being like, wow, I've got so much out of both vippassana meditation and ayahuasca. And I go to the Native American church, and that's a league of its own as well, but I'm not going to talk about that on the air necessarily. Maybe I'll get into it someday. Ayahuasca is a sacred, a holy sacrament from the Amazon. 14 million people in Brazil practice this religion, where you basically get together with your people, you drink this stuff, and you acquire cosmic consciousness. Now, my experiences have been completely cosmic. There's actually beings that potentially come to communicate with you, and whether these beings are part of your mind or actually out in the cosmos, and you have to tune into another frequency to meet them, I'm not sure, but I have met them many times, and I'll tell you a couple stories real quick. One was an experience on the summer solstice of 2007. I didn't plan on doing this on the summer solstice. It just happened to be the summer solstice. I remember because there was a parade and all that stuff. And I had the opportunity to try DMT, which is the active ingredient in ayahuasca. And I tried a little bit, and I saw the gate to heaven and the Eye of Ra directly above me. I was looking right up. I saw the Eye of Ra right above me with kind of like a DNA kind of spiral coming down around my body. And I also saw jewels inside of me at each of the chakra points. I didn't even know what a chakra was at this time. I didn't even know the words or the terminology on anything. Kundalini chakra. I was like, what the heck? But once I saw it, I realized that there's something there going on. And so, anyways, I saw the gate. It was fractally, like a fractal fire gate to heaven is what it looked like. I don't know how else to describe it. And I came back, and I didn't feel satisfied. I felt like I made it to the gate to heaven, and I didn't go through. What's the deal, man? Why don't I go through? So I was like, I gotta go through. I'm not gonna just come this far and not go through to talk to the people upstairs. So I loaded up the DMT as much as I could possibly think of doing, and I did it. And here's what happened. All at once I had an experience instantly in a matrix, like with the green number symbol stuff going through everything, and my eyes started to adjust to another realm, and there was these beings. I think there was 4 beings. I can't really remember, but there was multiple beings, and they had their arms out and they were waving like this. And I was like, what are they doing? And I realized that they were blessing me of some sort, or creating me or something. They were watching over me, and actually they were all doing the same motions with their hands, and I was like, what the heck are they doing? But I was like, well, they're blessing me, is what I said to myself. Or like I realized they're blessing me. Oh. And then one of them, I can't tell if one of them separated from the four or if all the four turned into one, because I was still adjusting into this other dimension that DMT will bring you to. She came to me though, more clear and more clear and more clear as she walked to me, and she approached me from a distance. It was like looking at me like an alien was looking for a human for the first time, like really wanting to check me out, just like until we had an encounter, until she was face to face, like face to face, like, and I was like looking at her, and she was transparent, lightning blue. I could see her arteries. They were all neon colored arteries, like an Alex Gray painting. I'd seen those before. And I looked into her. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, her face had like these tubule things. Like, she was like humanoid, transparent, but like a deep sea squid transparent, like glowing blue skin. And I basically, while we were face to face like this, I was like, oh my gosh, her eyes were like these big blue, like Pixar animated eyes looking things, and I was just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then whenever, because I was just like in such awe, astonishment, utter astonishment that I'm encountering an alien. And I was like, there's no way that I'm encountering an alien. It didn't stop there. I looked into the center of her head, and it was like, but it wasn't bright like that. I have lights in my hat, so I just got this at Home Depot, which I think it's pretty cool to have lights in your hat. Like, anyway, so I look into her head. She's transparent. I can see all the way through. I have X-ray vision. I can see all of her energy going, circulating around. She's made of like pure light. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I look into her head, and there's a red node right in the center, like inside her head. And as I looked into it, all I could tell is that I like got sucked out of my body and into it. Like, I was like, as my awareness, I like came flying into the center of her head. Just at that moment, she was looking at the center of my head, and I think that she flew out of her body and went into me. And as I went into her, and what happened then was like, if you're into physics, you might know what a singularity is. It's basically like a black hole, an infinitely dense point. So it's infinitely dense, and so me and this alien lightning being, she had kind of an insectoid head, but she was definitely humanoid, almost reptilian or bee-like too. So it's a very strange creature. I'd never imagined seeing anything like this, but as I looked into her head, she looked into mine. We got sucked out of our bodies, and as soon as we met, it was like faster and faster and faster, in spiraling into each other, like two singularities meeting. Never meeting though, but only going faster into each other, until basically I think I reached some kind of a plane of asymptotic, as close as you can get to speed of light status. And what happened here at this point was there was a kind of like a major stepping back kind of thing, and I was gone. All I was awareness. I was in utter astonishment. I just experienced the the greatest feeling of my life. It was as if an orgasm for the first time or something. Like it was unbelievable. The rush. It was a rush going the speed of light. Yeah, realizing that I'm an alien too, maybe. I don't know. But basically, we hit the speed of light in singularity fashion. As fast as you can possibly think of spiraling into another thing as it spirals into you. That's how fast we're going. It looked like DNA spirals. But going all everywhere. So what happened? What did I see whenever I hit the speed of light? All I could see was and I was never Buddhist before. I mean, I always liked Buddha, but I was never Buddhist. But I came face to face. No, I wasn't there. I didn't have a face. I was gone. I was just pure awareness in the speed of light, 0 time. And all there was a Buddha sitting there on a throne made of gold, it looked like. And he was made of gold too, but he was alive. It was very, very... I was like, is that a statue? Is that a statue, or is that guy alive? And he was alive, and he was so alive that he basically sat there in complete stillness with kind of a little smile. He was completely still, and he'd been that way for a very long time, and he wasn't going to start moving anytime soon. And basically, as I looked at him, there was these tattoos on his head. This is all 1 5-minute DMT trip, or maybe 10 minutes. But as I looked at him, there was these tattoos that I realized that almost like antlers on his head. Like just it looked like tattoos. And then as I looked at him, there was some kind of a time lapse between whenever I saw the Eye of Ra above me in the first one, and then an hour later in the second one. But all I have is one memory of this thing happening where my spine cracked. I heard the voice, look up. My spine cracked from the bottom up. And I was like this. Oh, my soul, I was like this. My soul, or like some kind of like white cloud essence stuff, comes up out of me. Through the bottom, like down here, up, and it comes out of my neck, through my mouth. So this white cloud stuff comes up through my neck as this crack goes up my spine, into my brainstem, and it goes, continues into my head. And this is like a physical thing that actually happened. This wasn't my imagination. I mean, it could have been, but I felt it. It was like, that was what's happening. And as it hit my brain goes, my brain, I thought it was done developing, but it was like a bud, and it started to bloom. It did bloom. It went. This gigantic lotus flower comes out of my head, and I had never been into Buddhist mythology like that. So anyway, and as I looked at the Buddha, and I can't even describe this in real terms, but as I looked at the Buddha, I looked at him, and his face became my face, and I realized I was looking at myself. And then, as I made that realization, I was like, what? And then, he comes back, or I come back from the speed of light, back into my head. But I'm sitting there face to face with this alien girl still. looking in the red note in her head, and then I was like, oh my gosh, it was like the sex was over, like the alien orgasm was over. I was like, oh my gosh. And then she starts to turn from me, starts to go away, and I was like, oh no, it's over? What just happened to me? And I was like, did that not mean anything to you? Because that meant so much to me. I think I'm in love with you, or something, you know, that feeling of like, yeah, that didn't mean anything to you? Oh no, oh no, oh. And I was just like, oh man, that didn't mean anything. That was just a drug. What? So she's like she's fading away, and she actually starts to turn to dust as I'm looking at her. Because like my dream, somehow the DMT is like a neurotransmitter to another dimension, but you have to tune into another frequency. It's like your frequency knob goes boo, even higher than that, way higher. And anyway, so there she is. She's turning. She's fading away. The last thing that she does to me, or no, I'm like kind of longing for some kind of recognition that like I mean something to her too, or you know, I wasn't just like, she's not just messing with me or whatever. And so the last thing she does to me, as I'm like just like, she turns and she blows me a kiss, and all this energy comes off of her hands as she blows. She's got a good distance from me now. She's probably like 5 or 10 feet away. She turns and she goes, she's fading away. She turns, and no, I got big hands and I'm kind of an oafy dude, so you didn't really get the image right. I just saw it. But basically, she blew this kiss to me. All this energy comes off her hand, and just like, I see this huge kiss cloud come at me, and like this, and it looked like little video game bonus energies full of all through the cloud. An electric storm cloud of love came at me, and it nestled on me, and it was like completely engulfed me. And this, the key to this is like, taste a little bit of DMT if you do this, but then if you can get it, the key is let go. If you really want to see God, God is all there is, and let go when you do it. You gotta let go. You gotta die. You gotta cling to nothing. It's almost like it's just a complete release. Like, in order for this to happen, it's like a complete release. And because I've done it many times since then, but this was the time that started my journeying with the substance. I have many stories. I have hundreds, well, probably 50 to 70 stories of just completely mind-blowing stuff. But I don't need to go into all of them now, but I just wanted to kind of give you a background on why this is important to me, because I had this experience. And then I had never been hitchhiking before this, and after this happened, I decided that I was going to go hitchhiking. So I hitchhiked 3,300 miles. I hitchhiked that summer 2007. That's 5 years ago. And that's what started me going to rainbow gatherings, finding out about going on the Indian reservations, learning about peyote, learning about what's going on in the world. I learned a lot. And I went barefoot that summer, and my feet turned into dog feet. And yeah, I'm a lot different now. I've kind of come back to earth, and I've kind of got it all in perspective, but it did happen. Oh yeah, and I thought that I was God because this happened to me. I thought I was like the living Buddha, aka God, and I don't think that that's true necessarily. I think that that's all of our identities, and many other people have recognized this before. I just happen to recognize it in my life. And so many people before me have recognized that, and many people after me will recognize that. I just happen to have that recognition, so I don't do miracles, but everything is a miracle with me. Like, this is a miracle that I'm making this video. It's kind of a miracle, so I don't know. And it's really just I'm trying to pray for the best. So anyway, so ayahuasca, I'll spend another couple minutes on this topic. Ayahuasca, I got into ceremonies, and this is my friends had a bunch of DMT. I don't know where they got it, but they had a bunch, and it was really pure and good, and they gave me a whole ton of it. And so I consistently, what me and my friend called it, blasting off, basically going to see the man, or the woman, I should say, the goddess. And so many things have happened, but I realized that there's many mythical creatures just outside of this reality, like just playing in every dimension. We think that this is it, what we can see, but actually this is the visible light spectrum is like that compared to like all of possibilities. So I go out to these other places. I mean, and sometimes I'm completely retarded because I'd never been to a place like that, and how else could you be whenever you go to beta land where everything's completely backwards and you just crapped your pants. No, I didn't crap my pants. I never done that, but that's what it feels like sometimes. So with ayahuasca, during the ceremony, the first, because I made it myself actually, and I drank it myself, because you can just order it off the internet. And I did it outside of this country. I just went down to Mexico because it's legal down there. So I heard. So, anyways, so I drank it by myself the first couple times, and I had amazing experiences thinking about my family, my ancestors, all that stuff. Because they're like, "Oh, you should do it with a shaman," but I was like, I don't know about that whole idea about having a middleman between you and the creator. I just wanted to do it, so that's what I did, and that's how my attitude has been the entire time. But I got invited, or I found out about a ceremony going on in Hawaii, and I was like, I'd really like to go see what they do in those ceremonies. And I seen some stuff on the internet, and I was like, okay, well, I've seen the highest of the highest of the highest stuff with this stuff. And ayahuasca is just like that 5 or 10 minute DMT thing, but for like 6-8 hours or all night. It's a big experience. It's no joke. It's like you're going, and you're gone. You're there. You made it. You're enlightened. It's crazy. And so I'm a huge proponent of this because I think it would help society. I think it would help everybody. I think that's what everybody's trying to get, and that's why people smoke crack on the streets, because they really just want ayahuasca, but it's not around. And this is an ancient thing, and if we did evolve from the jungle, then our ancestors probably did do ayahuasca. So we just kind of like lost our heritage. So anyways, this first ayahuasca ceremony that I went to, it's full of goddesses. It was full of shamanesses. It was run by women, and I didn't know that it was going to be like that, but it was the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. We prayed over water, and aliens came, and I don't want to call them aliens. I want to call them other dimensional beings. A lot of the times they're elfy. They have the elf shoes with the spins, and fairy-like. Sometimes they're fairies, elves. They're the kind of elves, like, the elves will like look at you and be like, "Did you see me?" And I'm like, "Oh, I saw you." The first time I saw them, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But then after I got to know their games, they're just a bunch of elves, and they just want to play, and they go play major tricks on people. Like, they go make the shoemaker's shoes and stuff like that. So what do? In the ceremony, whenever they come, I'm like, oh, what's up, guys? Because I did a bunch by myself until I got to know the actual beings that you encounter. And there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. There's a lot of hard journeys. Like there's certain ways of being that the medicine teaches you. But so during the ceremony, the beings come, and I'm like, oh, and I just like hop right in line, like I'm gonna go play with my elf friends. And I guess the next morning I heard a lady say that she experienced them as well, and she called them out of her energy, and I couldn't explain why, but at some point in the night, whenever I was just playing with them, they started freaking out, and I was like, what's going on? And they all jumped into me because I was open to them, because I trust them, because they've always been really good teachers, and they've taught me really cool things about how to be better and how to not be such a immature, like, or not letting love flow and let it happen and stuff like that. So they all jump into me, and I'm in the middle of this 40-person circle, or on one side. I ended up becoming in the middle because the shamaness lady put me in the middle, and I had to sit like some kind of like crazy. It was insane, but I started shaking like Blanca in Street Fighter 2. And like I was channeling at least like 25 million volts of electricity or something, because I know how to do it. You just have to go limber, but you also have to be like, oh, ride that ball, like you're gonna like grab, you're not gonna let go, you're gonna keep it, because ayahuasca is a healer. Like it'll make you puke if you have problems. It'll really magnify your habit patterns. So if you have bad habits, it'll magnify those, and you're gonna get sick because they're bad. And so I kind of started to understand this. I was like, okay, I really want to get as high as possible. That's my motive, really. I was like, I want to get high as you can possibly get, and in order to do that, you gotta nip the bad habits in the bud. And so there I am in the ceremony. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And so they jumped into me, and I was like, okay, my mind's already blown to the max at this point. And so there I am, I'm about to puke. It's just too much. But then I was like, no, I'm not gonna puke, I'm gonna hold in the medicine. And my face was like yeah, it was insane. And I started shaking, and everyone was like, what the heck is he doing? Oh, is he doing okay? And there I am, like, just like I held my thumb like this. Like, that's my grip. That's the ancestral grip that I have from my cowboy and Indian ancestors. It's like I can grip anything. I can wrestle down a mammoth with my thumbs. So that's what I was holding on to, and that's what I was all that energy was going into there. And I swear, from my perspective, I don't know anybody else talking about this, what actually happened, but there was like this ceiling. There was a huge electrical storm coming out of me, and the ceiling sounded to me like there was bees completely all over the metal roof of this place in Hawaii I was at. And it was the most insane thing that I've ever experienced. Oh, other than like the hanging with the natives and the peyote meetings. Those get pretty out there too. I can only begin to describe the different experiences that'll happen. Like if you start going out there to the netherworld, the other worlds, they're good. They pray. They're really sincere. It's really good stuff. But anyways, so that's my experience with ayahuasca. It's been helping so much with my life. You can kind of tell that I'm pretty good. I mean, I think I might have used to be depressed even, and I still have reasons to be depressed. I mean, I don't want to talk about it. Just like kind of used to have a girl that I liked, and she's not in my life anymore. So what are you gonna do? Alright. My grandma is like, she's getting heart surgery. She just had it. She has to have it again, and she looks like she's not doing so well. And she's like my real mom. My mom's my real mom. But whenever everybody else, there was nowhere else for me to go. My grandma took me, and she kind of raised me. So I know her really well, and so everybody else doesn't even know her even. So they're like, oh, she's gonna go soon. Oh well. And I'm like, oh, you don't even know her, man. Like, but that's my own thing. She's a very cool lady. She comes from some kind of German Scottish descent, so she's real cool like that. What else? So yeah, I'll probably wrap this up. I'm gonna put together a video about ayahuasca. Now that you know my story, because I don't have a PhD in anything, and my dad and everybody else that I know that kind of has power in society, they don't care about if I say anything. They're like, okay, you're going to a mental institution right now because you just said that you actually met aliens. And it's like, well, I did. Sorry. I'm like, sorry to cut it, break it to you. I'm like, what can I say? There's many people that have on the same substances. You're like, no, that's a substance. You took a drug. It's like, no, that's not a drug. That's some kind of holy sacrament. I don't know what it is, but I got so much love from those meetings and so much cultural upliftment and feeling like I was at home for the first time in my life, or in 7 lifetimes. I've been wandering in this crazy Babylonian concrete mechanism where everyone's completely backwards and don't treat each other good. People are kind of lost in their own disease and stuff, and I'm like, man, my whole life's been like wandering through this stuff, and then now I make it home to these people like doing the right things, and like the way that I can see it making sense. So I see ayahuasca as being an extremely beneficial thing for society, and I'm willing to put my neck out on the line for it. As I am Native American, and I am authorized federally to carry peyote and eagle feathers and medicine as a Native American religious person. So as I choose to carry medicine at my discretion, it's legal for me because there's certain laws that have been established, and so ayahuasca to me is an extremely beneficial medicine, and I think that if we brought it to our society, it'd be very hard because society is very closed-minded to anything like this, But as the information age is dawning, there's all these doctors from Stanford, from Yale, from UCLA, all these PhDs and experts and psychiatrists and all kinds of beings, and just people that are talking about what happened to them, and it's all positive, it's all beneficial to the psyche, and so that's my goal for ayahuasca, is to just tell the truth about it until I die. And I don't know, I know that the jungle actually runs everything. We're just beings, we're just monkeys in a jungle, so if I do die, it's the jungle's will. But I feel like if I'm working for the jungle, I don't think I'm gonna die. I think I'm gonna live forever. And if I do die, that's the first day of my immortality. So I'm not really scared of anything, because I really just love all of you, every single one of you. Metta, just like have compassion for your sufferings, and I got my own sufferings, but I really care about you, and I care about your sufferings, and down to the devil himself, I'll give you that love, and I'll give you that compassion, And in the native ways, they say that all men will come clean down to the devil. He will come clean too. So, in the end, they say. So, that's a crazy thought, but I like that better than "you are damned." Like, 'cause we're all one. It's non-duality. You know all that stuff. So, this is a 35-minute little story. So, yeah, email me, comment. You know, I'm a hermit in the woods. I don't really talk to very many people. I just got this computer so I can start presenting more information. And yeah, I'm gonna probably make some more videos. I'm a past 35 minutes. I can't believe that, but so I may as well go to 40 minutes, right? Okay, so a few things about ayahuasca that I like is that it's a cure for everything: cancer, antisocial behavior, depression. It's a cure for not love in your life. It's a cure for unhealthiness. It's just a blast of cosmic consciousness. And that's what we need. We need to know what's up with everything. So that's why I like it. I'll take you into my vision of what I want to do, because I do have a lot of spiritual energy backing me. I can do anything I want, and this is what I want. I want to create something, a sanctuary, all nations sanctuary. I want it to be land owned by all nations somehow. I don't know if that's possible, but it'll be dedicated to all nations, and everyone in the world will have the right to go there. I don't know, I don't care how big it is going to have to be, but this sanctuary is going to be, this is my brainchild. So it's going to be, okay, I haven't talked about vippassana yet, but I'll make another video about vippassana just to talk about it, because it's really important. So vippassana is the first thing that you'll have to do at this sanctuary: 10 days of silence and learning vippassana. And once you're done, in the style of Esin Gwenka, that guy rocks. And as long as it's okay with him, we'll teach from his. I don't think that he wants to be part of anything else, but if he's not down, we're gonna have to come up with our own teachers and teach vippassana, because that's the number one fundamental thing that everyone needs to know in their lives for complete balance, non-duality, equanimity, understanding yourself, not giving your power to cravings and aversions and addictions and stuff. And as soon as you can get that down, that's the prerequisite in this sanctuary for going into the medicine ways, the red road. And there'll be natives, medicine men, teachers that'll be sanctioned to teach there. If this is my sanctuary, this is not mine, but this is our sanctuary, and I'm coming up with the blueprints, and there will be rules. You can't just do anything you want, because you got to protect the energy for all nations. And there is going to be rules. There has to be, and so I'm working those out. But after Vippassana, Ayahuasca, half moon ceremony, which is the peyote ceremony, and sweat lodge, and then there will be an aikido dojo. because aikido's the way of peace. It's the way of harmony. It's the best thing to learn ever. It's invincibility in your life. So it's basically just a training ground. It's a re-up. It's a sanctuary, man. And there'll be places, there'll be gardens, there'll be wolfers. So if you want to stay on the sanctuary, you just have to agree to meditate 3 hours a day, if you're going to work there. And you have to go through the sits first. But then you just agree to meditate 3 hours a day, and then you gotta work another 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, on the farm, just doing, growing the food, non-GMO, all organic, and it's gonna be Vipassana. There's gonna be no killing on this land, just for the sanctuary. It's a sanctuary for all nations, and that doesn't fly with a lot of people, such as the Buddha. We're going to be teaching the Buddha's meditation. We're going to be teaching compassion for all beings and stuff like that. Or encouraging it. And so there are some things in Native America, like the buckskin on the water drum, stuff like that, where killing seems to be part of the mainframe. It's a hunting, gathering society. So I'm still working on how to kind of tie it all together. But outside of all that, this is all just this is all functional spirituality that I want to promote with Christianity. Also Sundance in the sanctuary. I think that if I could get 8,000 acres with a mountain and everything, for $8 million or $10 million and really make this thing go down, because it's just a matter of time before something happens where people are going to start listening to me. I don't know. People listen to me. It's just a matter of, I don't know. I'm really unorganized, and I'm very flighty. I'm part bird. I'm part eagle, and whenever I don't like the way something feels, I'm out. Can't let any weight get me down. It's just I can't. And if I'm there, I'm adding to the weight, and it's so it's hard to work with me. But if I can get the funding, if I can get the backing to do this, I have the paperwork for being Native American. I'm allowed to be Native American, and that means I get to be the host on this island. I'm part German, Scottish, Irish, English, so I'm those 4 things too. So I've got a lot of blood lines going into me, and it's okay. I just care about all people on Earth, and so I'm kind of like a world bridge between different worlds and stuff too. I've noticed that's kind of my role, to help the white people understand the natives, and kind of maybe help the natives understand the white people, especially Scottish and Irish. I think they really get along well. They're very close. Let's see. I'll wrap it up. So the money that I need, it'll come at the right time if I really hold true to the vision, and I think that's what I want to do. I had a recent experience going into the sun, and the typical Diablos everywhere, and they didn't eat me, they gave me respect, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm hanging with Diablos. And they're just being like, what the heck is that guy? He's got it figured out. And I don't have any fear, I'm just like, if you're gonna eat me, you're gonna eat me. I'm pure cosmos, bro. I'm hotter than the fires of hell. It's within me. So I came back from this trip. Can't even begin to describe how gnarly this one was. But I realized that I just have a job to do, and I'm here to do it. So anything else, it's not that fun to me. I just want to work. I want to work on what I need to work on, and outside of that, partying. I got my partying in, and now it's time to work. So, in on top of the money that I make from the sanctuary, from donations, it's pure dana. It's free for all beings, but they do accept donations, and it's gonna, just like the vippassana, it's pure dana. It's pure free. Everything. You can't charge money. It's Babylon. It's not the way to do it. So it is going to make a bunch of surplus from donations, theoretically. And once the sanctuary is all paid for, and it's all designed real well, with like all modern like thought and like like just like the dankest of the dank. And I'm not talking about spending a lot of money. I'm talking about spending a lot of thought and love on what we're doing here as a people. Kind of like the city of Luz, as the rabbi in the ayahuasca video I'm going to put together talks about. I want to create the city of Luz. I want to be in the city of Luz all the time. And I'll go out, but I want to go out just to help people, bring it back to where we got it going. Because we're the solution masters. We're the masters of the universe. We're the creators of reality. We're the architects of life itself. So anyway, so this so the money. Okay, the last thing. One of my friends, Mike, he's a sun dancer. He's a road man. He's for the Native American meetings. So he's like a really cool dude. He's a fireman for a couple of meetings I was at. Or he's helping out. But he's a sun dancer. Sun dancing is the gnarliest thing you can imagine. You can learn about it. I've never sun danced. I couldn't imagine sun dancing, but if I'm invited, I'll see what happens, But sun dancing, you hang from hooks in your chest and in your back, and for 4 days. I think that if you commit for one time, you commit for 4 times, so that's 16 days total. I think that's what they say. And so after 16 days, you're done. And I'm not sure what happens then, but when you go into sun dancing, you go in with a prayer. And Mike shared his prayer with us during a prayer meeting of what he brought into the sun dance. And shared a lot of really good stuff, good information. I felt like information of God with us that I can never thank him for. It was beyond my appreciation of how can you ask for such wisdoms and stuff, you don't even know they exist, and then they're just gifted to you free, like the Buddha gives the vippassana, diamond of life for free to you. And so his prayer was that all people would have access to fresh drinking water, pure drinking water, as that's the most important thing. And so, with my vision, I'd like to help that prayer come into being as much as I can. If I do write a book about this stuff that I'm kind of going over, all proceeds go to... I had a vision of calling this foundation the Waterberg Foundation because it's concentrated on water, bringing water to the world, and it came from the teepee, where they make a water bird out of coals. So anyway, so I don't need to talk so much about it, but so the Waterberg Foundation would be where all the excess profits go to all of our enterprises. or at least my enterprises, I'll be taken care of. You know, I'm cool. I want to make millions and billions of dollars though, and I want to take that and put it towards water technologies, bringing water to the world. I think that that's a noble cause to put our energies to make sure that everyone has drinking water. And there's ways that I've been researching for years, even before I heard this prayer, because I kind of had the same prayer, which is why I'm like, that's what I got to do. So there's ways of atmospheric water generators. Pretty much, it's like, think about a dehumidifier you'd put in like a dank, a watery room to dry it out, and then it kind of pulls water from the air and puts it into a container. So you can make those with windmills. There's a guy named Max Wisson. He makes the Wisson windmill. There's also I don't know, there's many different water technologies out there, but the point of the Waterbird Foundation is that we would further them. I'm friends with tons of engineers. I'm related to a bunch of engineers. If I can fund a little bit of energy towards water technology and just getting it together for a worldwide foundation, just bringing water for free, you know, it's not a money-making thing. You bring water to Africa, to those, I go to these meetings sometimes, people from Africa come and say they come from this small little village and the water dried up, or the water got contaminated, and now that people are dying, and they don't know how to live. There are really some people in need over there, and so that's what we would do. We would we'd spend our energy on making sure everyone has the technology to make sure they get fresh water, and it'd be good like that. Otherwise, that's the basic, and maybe, you know, so that's what I wanted to do. I just brought water. That's it. All the economic stuff and all the everything else, you know, there's some great thinkers out there that they'll think about what to do with that. And me, I've come to just do water. So, and I'm friends with some different chairmen of different tribes, and they're all saying the same thing, man. They're all saying we got to ensure good water for our future. And so I've got mad support on this idea, and I'm gonna support them on their endeavors too. This is what the Waterbird Foundation does, and this is just an idea, you know. And I don't know that it's going to be called the Waterbird Foundation even. I don't know if that's, I'm gonna have to really present that to some of the natives, like be like, this is what I want to do. Can it be done? And I'll get their support, I think, because I think it's a good idea. I think it's what needs to happen, and I think people will like the idea. So, yeah. So I've said enough. That's what I want to do. If I'm not going to ask you for money, but if you know of anyone who would resonate with this stuff, I need to have a meeting with them if they have ridiculous amounts of money, or I need to do a Kickstarter. Kickstarter would probably get it. I've seen that do some pretty cool stuff. Or yeah, just one person. I mean, I could start it with, I mean, I'm making some money right now, but not hardly anything. I'm tiling bathrooms. So I get done tiling and I come to my little cave over here, try to make news, Space Couch news. Space Couch is it's just the idea of sitting in a couch that's orbiting the earth and thinking about earth that way, rather than like being down on it and just thinking so locally, more globally also, but locally too, you know. But Space Couch is how we got the couch up there. So the story goes, is a bunch of bottle rockets launched that thing up there. So alright, well, we got a 55-minute long conversation with the universe here, so I think I'll leave it alone and work on putting my ayahuasca movie together. Check out my ayahuasca movie. It's not my movie, but it's a video compilation that I'm gonna put together out of a whole bunch of other movies to kind of put this stuff into perspective, so that we can get this stuff into our society as quickly as possible and start implementing it, giving it to people in prison, you know, help them out. People in prison, I don't care what anyone did. I don't care what you did. I don't care what anyone in prison did, no matter how bad it is. That's still our family, that's still our brother, and they're you know, I'm not going to stop thinking about them. I'm not going to think they're lost hope no matter what they did. Now, if they proven themselves to be a danger to society, I can understand how people are going to be hesitant to let them out of prison. But while they're in prison, why are we punishing them? This is an ego trip. This is your ego wants to see them get what they deserve, you know, and that's not the way to live, man. Not to me. The way to live is to love everyone. And I'm not completely vegetarian, but ideally I would be, because didn't the Lord say, love your neighbor? Anyway, so these prisons, I just wanted to throw that in because I was thinking, like, how do I want to live? I don't know. Because I come from ranchers, so they eat a lot of animals. And they're all sick. They're all sick. I mean, not really, but they're all obese. They're all, you know, they all have health issues, diabetes and stuff like that. But anyway, so the people in prisons, that whole industry is just, that's gotta go. We gotta change prisons into rehabilitation centers. And if somebody does something that they need a little check, like, oh, you didn't know? Well, we got a place for you to learn. Come on. Give them ayahuasca. Give them vippassana meditation. Probably give them vippassana first for like maybe a good year if they're one of those lifers. Because watch the movie The Dama Brothers. It'll shed some light on what vippassana does. And then after the vippassana, give them some of that ayahuasca. Give them a lot of that ayahuasca for another year. A lot. And then give them a little place to live in the jungle. Keep them, you know, confined. Give them some nature. Give them some way to be spiritual. Because it's got to be hard living in those prisons. And give them access to God, you know. And if it's all right, you know, make sure it's all right and all good. So I'm gonna keep this under an hour, this little blog. Try to make more of these blogs if I can. Otherwise, yeah, send me a message. JPTREMBATH. Oh, no. spacecouchnews@gmail.com. Or just send me a message on this and I'll get it. So, yep. Alright. Thanks for listening. See you later.